36,000 people walk into emergency rooms every year because of chainsaws. Not because they were careless, not because they were untrained, because the one mechanism designed to stop a spinning chain in an emergency did not stop it. The chain brake. One moving part. One job. And when it fails, the average laceration requires 110 stitches. 10% of those injuries end in amputation. The hardware store is not going to tell you which saws on that wall have a documented history of brake failure. The box is not going to tell you. The guy restocking the end cap is not going to tell you. This video names 5 specific chainsaws with verified safety failures, exactly what went wrong, and when the recalls happened. And then it names the only 2 worth your money. The worst offender on this list sold for 7 years before anyone pulled it. Milwaukee is not a brand people second guess. That is the problem. When a name carries that much weight, buyers stop asking questions. They see the red tool, they see the price, and they assume the engineering holds up where it matters most. In this case, it did not. In October 2025, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission and Milwaukee Tool issued a nationwide recall of 90,860 M18 fuel top handle chainsaws, 12-inch and 14-inch bar models, catalog number 2826-20. Every unit sold between March 2023 and September 2024 at Home Depot and retailers across the country. The tool-only version sold for around $350. The kit with batteries and chargers sold for $790. That is not a budget saw. That is a considered purchase from a brand people trust with serious work. The defect is the chain brake. Specifically, the chain brake may not activate. The moment a kickback event throws the bar upward toward the operator's face or hands is the exact moment the brake exists to engage. And in confirmed cases, it did not engage. Milwaukee received 2 reports of brake failure before the recall was announced. One of them resulted in a lacerated finger. 2 reports and 1 injury before 90,000 saws came off the market. If you own one, the serial number tells you whether your unit is affected. The 4th digit identifies the production batch. Stop using it. Register at Milwaukee's e-service portal. They will send a prepaid shipping label. Repairs take 7 to 10 business days. The recall was announced in October 2025. The saws went on sale in March 2023. That is over 2 years of active use with a brake that could not be trusted to do the one thing a brake has to do. Craftsman is the name on the tool chest your father had in the garage. That history does not transfer to this chainsaw. The Craftsman V20 12-inch compact, model CMCCS620M1, is the single lowest scored chainsaw in Consumer Reports' entire 2025 evaluation. Not the lowest scored battery saw. Not the lowest in its price range. The lowest scored chainsaw across every category they tested. Gas, electric, battery. Every model from every brand. This one finished last. The battery does not make it through the job. Multiple owners report the V20 dying in under 20 minutes of active cutting. That is not a runtime complaint. That is an operational safety problem. A saw that loses power unpredictably mid-cut does not stop cleanly. The operator rushes. Grip shifts. Attention moves from the wood to the machine. That is the exact sequence that leads to kickback. And kickback is what the brake exists to stop. On paper, Consumer Reports scores the CMCCS620M1 adequately for its safety features. The brake is there. The guard is there. The problem is not the hardware sitting still on a workbench. The problem is what happens when a 20-minute battery forces a decision no operator should have to make in the middle of a cut. Add the noise. This saw scores among the worst in its class for sound levels. Noise drives fatigue. Fatigue drives mistakes. The machine is building the conditions for an accident before the brake ever gets tested. Consumer Reports flags low reliability despite owner satisfaction scores that read higher than they should. People like this saw until the moment it lets them down. And it will let them down. The lowest ranked chainsaw in America is sitting on the shelf right now. Nothing on the box tells you that. Greenworks and Cobalt do not look like the same product. Different colors, different voltage numbers, different names on the blade. Same manufacturer, same defect, same brake failure. And between them, a paper trail that runs for more than a decade. Start with February 2018. The CPSC recalls Greenworks Pro 80-volt and 82-volt cordless chainsaws, models CS80 L211, CS80 L00, and GS180. Sold at Lowe's and online between January 2015 and October 2017 for between $170 and $300. The defect is the chain brake guard. It can fail. When it fails, the saw keeps running. There is no secondary stop. There is no fallback. The chain spins, and the operator is the only thing left between the blade and a serious injury. Pulled at the same time, same recall, same distributor. Cobalt K CS180. Different name on the saw, same underlying problem, same fix required. That was round 1. Round 2 came in September 2020. A second Cobalt recall, this time the 40-volt 12-inch model, KCS120-07. Units manufactured from November 2013 through March 2020. Read that window carefully. November 2013 through March 2020. That is 7 years. 7 years of the same brake hazard moving through Lowe's checkout lanes. 7 years of units going into garages and sheds and woodlots across the country before the recall caught up with them. That is not a production error, that is a pattern. And the pattern did not stop with the recalls. Consumer Reports ran their 2025 and 2026 evaluations on current Greenworks and Cobalt models. The Greenworks 24-volt 12-inch and the Cobalt 24-volt 12-inch both landed in the bottom 4 battery-powered chainsaws tested, not bottom 4 in their voltage class. Bottom 4 overall, scoring below every gas-powered model in the evaluation. 2 recalls, 2 brands, 1 manufacturer behind both of them, and the current models still ranking at the bottom of the category. The name on the blade changes, the results do not. 3 different names, 3 different store logos, 1 defect running through all of them. Works at Amazon and Walmart, Hyper-Tough at Walmart, Portland at Harbor Freight, 3 brands positioned at the entry level, stocked at the 3 biggest retailers in the country, and recalled simultaneously in July 2025 for the same underlying failure. The defect is the power switch. It malfunctions. The saw keeps running after the trigger is released, not slowing down, not coasting, running. A chain moving at full speed with no input from the operator and no brake engaging to stop it. The CPSC pulled approximately 49,000 units. Works models, WG305 and WG309. Hyper-Tough HT 2140010201. Portland SKU 58949. Units sold between September 2024 and March 2025. That means saws from this recall are sitting in garages right now. The price range was $49.99 to $119.99. That is the budget tier. And the budget tier is exactly where brake failure does the most damage, because the buyer at that price point is most likely to be a first-time user who has never managed a kickback event and has no frame of reference for what a brake failure looks like before it becomes an injury. This is not the first time Portland has been here. In May 2018, approximately 48,000 Portland and Chicago Electric 14-inch chainsaws were recalled for the same category of failure. The company received 15 confirmed reports of saws continuing to run after being switched off. 3 laceration injuries were documented before the recall was issued. Same brand, same failure category, 7 years apart. 3 store logos make it look like 3 separate products. The recall record makes it look like something else entirely. The units were on sale as recently as early 2025. Check the garage before the next cut. DR Power Equipment is not a brand that ends up in the hands of beginners. The people buying DR are property owners. Rural acreage, serious cutting, tools that are expected to work hard and hold up. When someone spends money on DR equipment, they have usually done the research. They made a deliberate decision. They trusted the engineering. That is what makes this recall different from a $60 saw at Walmart. In June 2025, the CPSC recalled approximately 7,000 DR Power Equipment battery-powered chainsaws. The defect is the motor controller. It can overheat during use, not after use, not in storage. During active cutting, while both hands are on the saw, while the chain is running, and the operator's attention is on the wood in front of them. That is when the fire and burn hazard peaks. DR Power did not offer a repair. They offered a full refund. That distinction matters. A repair means the company believes the problem can be fixed. A refund means the company determined that removing the product entirely was the appropriate response. 7,000 units. Full refund. That is the company's own assessment of how serious the risk was. Between June and October 2025, 3 separate chainsaw recalls hit the CPSC database. DR Power in June. Works, Hypertough, and Portland in July. Milwaukee in October. 3 recalls in 5 months. Over 140,000 combined units pulled from the market in a single calendar year. The buyers who trusted DR Power were not cutting corners. They paid for serious equipment and received a fire hazard that activated at the worst possible moment. If a DR Power battery chainsaw is still sitting in a shed without a refund claim filed, the risk is still there. The wood chips make it worse. 5 brands. 5 documented failures. Now the 2 that hold up when independent testers with no brand deal attached run the evaluations. Husqvarna, first. Consumer Reports published their 2026 chainsaw rankings, and Husqvarna is on the list. Steel is not at the top overall picks level. The Husqvarna 450 Rancher earned Best Large Gas Chainsaw. The Husqvarna 350i earned a top electric model designation from Bob Vila's 2026 testing panel. Pro Tool Reviews named the Husqvarna 540 IXP Best Battery-Powered Chainsaw in their professional evaluations. 3 independent organizations, 3 separate testing processes. Same brand coming out at the top of each one. Entry price is $219.99. Identical to what some of the recalled saws on this list cost at retail. The difference is 50+ years of chainsaw engineering behind every model and a brake system that has not appeared on a CPSC recall list for the same defect twice in a decade. Now, Steel, and this is where honesty matters. In February 2017, Steel recalled nearly 100,000 MS-461 gas-powered chainsaws for fuel line leaks posing fire and burn hazards. That recall exists. It is part of the record, and it belongs in this conversation. What separates Steel is the response and the absence of a repeated pattern. Pro Tool Reviews named the Steel MS500i Best Overall Professional Chainsaw. The MS261CM earned Best Overall in the same publication's rankings. The MS881 tops out at $2,730. That number reflects what 50 years of engineering looks like when it is not cutting corners to hit a retail price point. 2 brands. Decades of independent validation. That is the difference. Between 2018 and 2022, 127,944 people were treated in emergency rooms for chainsaw injuries. 57 of them did not go home. The 5 brands covered in this video were not obscure imports sold in unmarked boxes. They were on the shelves at Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, and Amazon. Stocked next to the 2 that work, priced to look equivalent. The chain brake is not a feature. It is the only thing standing between a kickback and a catastrophic outcome. The store floor will not tell you which saw has a recall history. Subscribe, because that is what this channel does.